We're going to look at Pert and CPM as part of our project management. Pert is Program Evaluation and Review Technique, and CPM is Critical Path Method. Pert was developed by the Army to schedule major projects such as missile programs. CPM is kind of refinement of Pert. You'll find in industry people use the words interchangeably, but Pert actually has less information than CPM. Pert is just worried about time. CPM you could use for time and cost measurements. But we'll just start out with Pert today, and we'll start out with a simple example of planning your wedding. Congratulations, by the way. All right, so what always comes up is we have activity codes. We use the activity codes because it's a lot easier than writing out the description every time, and once we get into it, you'll see what I mean. So we assign an activity code to the description. This kind of gives us an ordering here, if you will. And we look at the immediate predecessor, in other words, what needs to be done before this step. You'll notice activities A and B, which is selecting your tux, very important, you want to look good, and selecting the location, they don't have an immediate predecessor. That tells us two things: they can be done at the same time, and they both can be started immediately. Next, we have a guest list. We need the location, and of course the tux to look good, before we can decide who to invite. Next, we have to decide, which DJ we're going to have. We want the right mood, we want the right music. Which caterer we're going to use, and of course, you need the Last Supper the night before the wedding. If we look, here are the time estimates for each one of the activities. If we just went with the straight time estimate, it looks like 15 weeks, but actually we can get it done a lot sooner than that. All right, based on our immediate predecessors, I kind of drew out the flow diagram for our Pert here. The first thing in the upper left-hand corner, we're going to put the activity code. In this lower box, we're going to put the time, how many weeks. Next lesson, we'll fill out the rest of the blocks. So we saw that we could start A and B at the same time. So from our start, we can start activities A and activity B at the same time. Activity A had a time of 1 week. Activity B has a time of 4 weeks. All right, then we saw activity C comes off of both A and B, and that has 4 weeks. Activity D, which was selecting our DJ, is just dependent on A. And D has a lead time of 2 weeks. Next, we're going to look at our catering, which was E. E was dependent upon A. That's my symbol for jumping the line there. Dependent upon A, and the caterer was also dependent upon C. Again, we need our tux to look good. We need to know what place we've selected, so we have to know how many guests we can invite. And it's going to take us 3 weeks to put together the guest list. Finally, we have F, which is our Last Supper here, which is dependent upon D, making sure we have all our final arrangements for our DJ, and E, which is selecting the caterer. And this is going to take us 1 week. So with those, this is our path, and finally, we make it to our wedding on time. Ha ha ha. The other thing we can figure out with this is what's called the critical path. All right, we can see we have a bunch of different paths to get through here. We have one path, which is ADF. So ADF, and that gets us to the finish. We have a second path of ACEF. So ACEF, which gets us there. We have a third path of AEF. And then we have this fourth path of BCEF. All right, to determine the critical path, we just add up the times. A is 1, D is 2, F is 1. For ACF, we have 1, C is 4, E is 3, F is 1. For AEF, we have 1 plus 3 plus 1. And finally, we have BCEF. So 4 plus 4 plus 3 plus 1. So we just add up all the different times. We have, 4 weeks, 9 weeks, 5 weeks, and then finally 12 weeks. Which would make BCEF our critical path. This is the path, and why this is important is, this is what we need to keep an eye on to get our project completed on time. If you want to show up for your wedding day on time, you have to make sure BCEF is on schedule.